Morning.
Sleep well, big guy.
Morning.
Sleep well, big guy.
Hey, you all right?
Sleep well, big guy, and then they go for the double kiss. Welcome back to Moose and the Loose. My name's David. Today we've got the G7 summit going on. The countries have come together. Justin Trudeau we don't get a day off. We don't get a day off from this guy. He is continuing his plan to destroy Canada. We've also got another clip at the end of the video, towards the end, of Melanie Joly. She says something unbelievable. So things are really heating up here. Let's jump into this. So first off, to start off the G7 summit, they had this guy parachute in. And then, of course, there's all these Biden clips. Biden's under the microscope. Like, why? What a waste of money. Why bother have some guy come in with a parachute? So Biden's kind of wandering off. And then he's giving a thumbs up. So there was one other guy there off on the far right. Maybe he was giving a thumbs up to him. I don't know. Maybe he's just in Spaceland. He's an old man. Who knows? Look who's off by himself on the far side over here. Not invited to play with the others. People don't like him. The other leaders don't like him. Trudeau's not the only cringe leader here. You got Rishi Sunak from Great Britain. In this cringe clip, you can see his body language with the Prime Minister of Italy. She clearly doesn't want to be touched by him. Look at this, leaning back. Get away from me, Sunak. Get away. Okay, yeah, I'm going to keep leaning away. Oh, dude, this is so cringe. And speaking of cringe, the king of cringe, Justin Trudeau. She took a step back, leaning away. She's looking down. Yeah, leave me alone, Trudeau. It's funny, this graphic down here. Unelected Eurocrat, just lost election. 50-year low poll numbers, just lost election, about to lose election. Unelected, 26% approval rating. Too senile to stand trial. What? We got some more body language shots here with Emmanuel Macron of France, and then and Italy's Prime Minister once again, Giorgia Meloni. That is very much the smile of, yeah, don't touch me, get away from me. Look at this face. She doesn't like that guy. So all these losers sit around the table and start talking about what they're going to do with our money and how they're going to waste it. And see here, a concerned citizen says no country should be giving out this much money when they have to borrow it on the international market. The debt spiral that Trudeau has taken this country through is egregious and unconscionable. We need to curb our spending, foreign aid, and focus on Canada.
2 years ago in Germany, as Ursula pointed out, we made a bold commitment. Together, government and business alike, we pledged to mobilize $600 billion to meet the demand of infrastructure financing in low and middle income countries. And we pledged to do so in a way that prioritized environmental standards, the green transition, strong labor, and gender equality for everyone. This work is about fostering the kind of stability and prosperity that has benefits for us all.
Prosperity. We'll come back to this in a second here. I just want to show some prosperity. Next up, we got a clip here from Princeton, BC. This is not a big place. We got the population here, 2,828. So how many tents do you think would be outside in this little tiny place? There shouldn't be any, right? Because there's such a small population. Down by the river here, one tent. There's 2 people there. They've set up their life here because Trudeau has run people quite literally out of their homes onto the river flats here with a tent. There was a second one back there, I think. We've got this going on here, whatever that is. It's somebody's life. Another tent. Like, look at this. This looks like somebody's flattened tent. This is people's more of their goods. It's either 2 more tents or someone's complete life they pulled out of their house when they were kicked out or whatever, wrapped it in tarps. Quite literally one little spot along the side of the river of a 2,800 population town. This is the prosperity we have.
We've made important progress together already. Last year at the G7 in Hiroshima, Canada announced $335 million for infrastructure initiatives focused on combating the climate crisis and building climate resilience. And we also committed $750 million through FinDev Canada, our development finance institution, to expand their global efforts to meet demand for infrastructure and to promote sustainable and inclusive development. But of course, there's so much more to be done. Canada will continue to leverage the expertise of our private sector and invest in growth that benefits everyone.
Yeah, like those people in those tents. Trudeau's a bad man. Like, he's actually a very bad man. Like, he's not only a disgrace to Canada, Canadian history, he's just a bad man. He's a bad human.
To build on our progress, we'll deliver an additional $720 million to FinDev Canada for its new concessional finance facility to provide low-interest financing for sustainable development in Latin America, the Caribbean, the Indo-Pacific, and, of course, Africa.
Oh, great. I love just having our tax dollars just going over to Africa and God knows where, everywhere else but our streets. This man has been the worst thing that has happened to Canada.
We're doing this to lower the risks for private sector partners and ensure they're able to put their capital to work in priority markets to solve today's big challenges. We're also providing almost $127 million in loans and grants to support an equitable energy transition, specifically in South Africa.
Oh, thank goodness. I was hoping we would spend $127 million of our hard-earned dollars. This is not your money, you piece of garbage.
Italy's ambitious Mate plan for Africa. These initiatives support Africa's clean energy initiatives. On top of that, we're providing...
Africa is getting completely squeezed by China and their Silk Road initiative. China goes in and builds infrastructure, and then they get them right by the nads. They just get the squeeze on them. They get all the power in there, in their embassies and stuff. They put in like hidden cameras. Like, it's just, why do we have anything to do with these other countries? We can't build the world, Trudeau. Use your own money.
$510 million to the Inter-American Development Bank's Net Zero and Climate Resilience Accelerator Fund. This funding will support the development of new technologies and business models. It'll also help communities throughout Latin America and the Caribbean adapt to the effects of climate change. And finally, we're providing $45 million to the Private Insurance Development Group, which provides financing for sustainable infrastructure in African and Asian countries. There is, of course, lots more to do, but Canada will be there as a partner as we invest together to build a better world for everyone.
Unbelievable. Everything this man says is absolutely putrid. Let's see what the people had to say on this one. At the end of the day, Canadians will be held accountable for the gross spending, and he will walk away leaving us holding the bag. And he will have a great time laughing for the rest of his days at us. Well, I don't know about that. He's going to get heckled every day of his life in this country. I foresee him leaving this country and going somewhere else because he won't be welcome here. He's going to be heckled on the beach in Tofino when he's surfing. He'll be heckled in Ottawa. He'll be heckled in Montreal. They meet knowing how their constituents feel about them and the state of democracy. To spend money like this is just unbelievable, living a nightmare horror movie. We borrowed from the world banks to give to other countries. So why couldn't the countries we gave that borrowed money to just borrow from the banks themselves? Good question. Maybe the world banks are the problem. Maybe there's some global piggy banks that people are getting rich off of. In the G7 summit, there's a bunch of cringe clips that we're going to go through here. First one is Zelensky. It says, Zelensky smashes world record on how many times he can sniff in a press conference.
Single largest donor of military equipment to Ukraine, and we said that we would match or exceed that amount, almost 2.5 conversations, which is why we've provided it on, but also those long range.
Not bring to anything good.
Thank you. Phase of the battle, and that's a very productive conversation that we're having today as well. Good.
So that's 9. I don't know if he's sick. I don't know if he's got some of that flour going on. Who knows? He's been shoving all our tax dollars up his nose. Next, we got these two losers with a very much staged shot. This is just like full-on drama Trudeau. As you can see here from Ryan Garrettson, a drama teacher and a comedian walk into a bar, watch two men performing for the cameras. It's not even convincing. It's awkward and phony.
Always such a pleasure to have an opportunity to sit down with my friend Vladimir Zelensky. Obviously, this is a really important time to have you here at the G7, and quite frankly, to see a consensus on something that we've worked on together for many, many years. We've been talking about the need to go after some of the Russian assets and the Russian profits particularly, and the fact that we came to a consensus today on $50 billion worth of direct support for Ukraine that the G7 and allies are going to be backstopping. Canada's actually the first country to announce $5 billion of that will be a Canadian contribution. Vladimir, it's always such a pleasure to see you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you for your support, and first of all, thank you, your team, and of course, all the Canadians. Thanks to your people that you supported our people. You've been the first country who began to move it. Thank you for your loud voice, and for today, we are very close for this decision. About $50 billion they will help. They will help Ukraine not only on the battlefield, also in reconstruction. Thank you so much. Thank you for some your initiatives which I heard during the G7.
Yes, I showed you a picture of the labs. Yes.
But I didn't forget.
No,
I can't forget.
More labs float off the assembly line in London, Ontario, and we're continuing to send the necessary equipment because of the hard work of great Canadians being there for you.
Even if you will forget something, I will remind you.
Thank you, my friend.
They've been discussing for many years. Yeah, they always many years. Big time money laundering scheme happening with these two. Probably the biggest scheme ever. They're consistent with it too. Ukraine piggy bank. Speaking of piggy bank, yeah. We should be putting a wealth tax on the billionaires from Ukraine. We demand they give a little bit more. So that's $15 billion of Canadians' taxpayer money. We won't see a penny back. He had a few chances to sign a peace deal, but refused. Next up, we got a clip here with Biden, Macron, Trudeau, the whole works. It's just all a lot of cringe. As Ryan Garrettson says here, I can't believe Trudeau says to Biden, sleep well, big guy. Is he for real?
Morning. Sleep well, big guy. Are you all right?
Good morning. Pleasure to see you.
Morning. It's his birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Do I need to say anything? Sleep well, big guy, and then they go for the double kiss?
Tradition of the Biden family. Got to sing happy birthday on the birthday.
Yeah.
So
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Olaf.
This is so cringe. Sleep well, big guy? Too much cringe for a 1-minute video. Speaking of cringe, we've got a video here of the Pope meeting everyone. Most of them with the traditional handshake. That a boy, that a boy. And here's Biden. What does Biden do? He's having a nap on him, or what? What they're actually talking about is the recent reruns of MASH. So he goes around the table. I'll spare you this long video. Eventually gets to Trudeau. Like, oh, have you tried the fig Newtons? There he is. You know what Trudeau said in his ear there? He's like, I hear you're single and ready to mingle and have lots of money. He's just so awkward in every single situation. Have a good sleep, big guy. Like, he doesn't know how to interact with anyone. He's just, oh. We got this clip here from Indian News. It says Trudeau got snubbed at the G7 as Prime Minister Modi didn't hold a bilateral meeting with Trudeau.
With what's at least gone down or what's on the agenda. At one end, you have a very warm hug with President Zelensky, which is interesting because that's strong messaging on Prime Minister Modi's account. On the other hand, no bilateral with Canada.
Well, that's an important one. You see, a lot of people are saying that.
I mean, obviously Modi doesn't like him because Trudeau's an idiot. Now, something that's been going on along this, Putin has sent a bunch of his ships and his submarines, etc., down to Cuba to do some training and testing. And along with that, because Putin's not at the G7, as it says here from Wall Street Silver, Putin today has pledged a ceasefire in Ukraine. The main issue is that Ukraine will have to give up on ever joining NATO. This has always been the main issue. When will we hear elected politicians and celebs calling for a ceasefire in Ukraine?
Ukraine must fully withdraw its troops as soon as Kyiv says that it's ready and starts the withdrawal of its troops, say that they are no longer willing to join NATO just the same moment immediately we will stop the fire and launch talks.
There's a path to peace. Obviously, Zelensky's not going to even talk to him. It's not going to happen. There's too much money to be made with war, and it just squeezes tax dollars out of the Canadians, Americans, all the other countries involved. So here's a couple clips showing they've got their toys, big metal toys, heading down to Cuba. There's also some fireworks they're sending off. They were testing out their new fireworks. Just 25 miles off the coast of Florida. Pretty bold move there, Putin. I don't... America has a lot more toys, I think, or at least an equal amount of toys. This is pretty interesting. So we've got this post here by Corey Morgan. It says, not only is Alberta running out of water, there's a water main that broke in Calgary, but look at CTV's global boiling map for tonight. So they keep posting these maps like the whole planet is burning down. It's all red. Oh my God, it's burning. It's 17 degrees. Oh my God. I grew up here. This is ridiculous. You get days where it's nice and hot. I mean, you get days in the wintertime when the Chinooks come through and it's like 15 degrees, let alone in June. Oh, it's 17 degrees. Oh my God. So what's interesting is if you look at, they have some, there's some American maps posted here. There it is. So this guy here says, here's what the NBC station in Montana is using. Same weather graphic system as CTV and Global. What's orange and red in Alberta is green and yellow in Montana. Similar temperatures. Yeah. Promoting climate garbage here. This has got to be part of Trudeau's agenda. They send them, you know, the millions of dollars and say, okay, you got to put this on the weather maps and stuff and scare people. It's ridiculous. What's also interesting here is that Chorus Entertainment owns Global News. And you can see here, their stock in the past 5 days has dropped 56%. There's a guy who left a comment here who said, basically, if that's just the value of their base assets, they're screwed. Yeah. Global News, I don't know, will be around much longer. Next up, we got this clip here. It's absolutely outrageous. So you got Melanie Joly here. She's the Minister of Foreign Affairs for Canada. She's being interviewed by this woke CBC host. She's asked about this word here, the ships in Havana, in Cuba, Putin with all his toys over there. And this is her response.
Okay, a lot of this is being driven by Russia. I mean, obviously China as well, but Russia it would be the primary player as one of the 8 Arctic nations. There is this strange thing happening in Cuba, Minister, that I'm wondering if you can help me understand. The HMCS Margaret Brooke, which is a patrol vessel from Canada, gone to Havana for 3 days starting tomorrow to celebrate Canada-Cuba bilateral relations. And there's some eyebrows being raised because it's in port at the same time that Russian military vessels, including nuclear-powered submarines, are there. Why would Canada have a Canadian ship in a Cuban port at the same time as Russian military vessels are there?
Listen, this is something that I have to look much more closer to. This is an information that is news to me because the Minister of Defense also works with CAF and DND on this very issue. But of course, we'll look into this and get back.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me, what? You're the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I get it. You're not Bill Blair and he's the defense minister, but still, like, should you not know everything that's going on in the foreign realm of planet Earth? I knew about this days ago. I haven't covered it on the channel because it's more of a global thing. She doesn't know what's going on. I'm amazed she said it. I'm amazed she didn't make up a bunch of garbage like Freeland does to get around the question. How on earth could this be news to our foreign affairs minister? It's been in the news for days. This seems problematic. Yeah, what exactly is she doing at work? None of these liberal ministers are qualified for anything, just a bunch of Justin's friends and yes men or women. Yeah, that's exactly it. They're all a bunch of yes people from his, if you look at his wedding party, a bunch of them were just brought in straight from there. So we've got quite the interesting clip here in Canada. I don't even know what to say. Are you allowed to walk a horse down a sidewalk? I've never even looked up the law for that. Is there a law? So we got another clip here of the cuckoo clocks just doing their thing in Toronto.
You don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, then you don't get no peace.
Gerard, it seems like you're collaborating with Proud Boys. What are your thoughts? Mr. Chernovsky is hanging around you guys. Can I get your thoughts?
Lee, I don't want to talk to you right now.
Okay.
I know you.
Yeah.
Let's talk later.
It seems like there's Proud Boys mixed in with your group.
Look at this guy. He's got a bandolier on here. What's this guy, Chewbacca? What is going on here?
Group.
He's getting away from these people. I don't know what happened there. They're obviously chasing the guy. Time to send these people home. Next up, we got a car thief in Brampton, says caught on camera, disabling the camera before stealing a pickup truck. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Let's just get the frame there nice. Since this goes out to quite a few people now, there's his face. There he is. Let's put this guy in jail. There we go. Nice mugshot there, buddy. We'll get you a nice jail cell ready. It's Justin Trudeau. Next up, we got this clip here. It says, try going to Niagara Falls. It's worse. An ocean of turbans. Cross to the New York side and it feels like Canada. It's bizarre. It's a hard thing to kind of deal with when you have a multicultural country where there's all cultures, and now it's being dominated in certain cities like Toronto by one culture. So it's making everyone else feel like they don't belong. It's not a good thing to do to the citizens here, especially since you got people from wherever, Somalia and Madagascar and Germany and Denmark, etc. And everyone feels like, oh, it's this nice melting mixing pot. And then suddenly it's all India. This big wave of India just takes over everything. This needs to be addressed. You can't just have one culture dominate too much, because then you get all these problems. People get elected. They do what's best for only people who came from India and not Canadians. This is not a good thing. It has to be equal share of immigration, not a dominant force from one country. Go train arriving. So this is a typical kind of trains in India. If you're not familiar, just people clinging onto the outside. It's just wild. Now, that's been a lot of tough clips to watch, but we got this one here, which is pretty interesting. It says, your thoughts on the school board voting to not fly the pride flag. This audience is filled with moms and parents. There you have it. Everyone's done with the woke crap. And this doesn't mean we're against people, LGBT, whatever community. It just means you just need to be like the rest of us. We don't get a special day. There's no day for plumbers. Where's the National Plumbers Day? When's the National Paramedics Day? Search and Rescue Members Day? I mean, those people should really get a day, not people who wear rainbow Speedos and nipple clamps. That's why people are tired of all this stuff. And it's right here. They're cheering for a pride flag not being flown at a school. And really, why would we have a pride flag, a flag of sexuality, at a school? These are underage kids. It makes absolutely no sense. Speaking of search and rescue, I just opened up my Facebook, and here's the local search and rescue for where I live. Here, they're out there doing a great job. Maybe we celebrate these people. Maybe we give a day where we say, thank you for volunteering your time and saving people. I was saved once when I was out in the Broken Group Islands. Not a pleasant experience. My kayak was sinking. I needed a boat rescue. And there were some First Nation guys posted out at one of the First Nation islands in the Broken Group. They came out in 20 minutes and saved my brother and I. Very grateful. I actually have an entire video on that if you want to see the whole thing. I filmed it. So you can hear me squealing and screeching and sinking in a kayak and getting hypothermic. I'll link it up at the end here if you guys want to see it. It's episode 2 of a 3-part series. Jumping over my group now, let's see what memes we got today. So, Christy Freeland, Plutocrats. I mentioned this in the previous video, so I think some of you have been looking this up to see if she has a book. She does. See, Rise of the New Global Super Rich. I'll probably at some point here get my hands on this and read this hideous book just to see what she's saying. If you leave your children in a world where you never stood up, they'll inherit a world where they can't. Choose a black face. Oh my God. Somebody compiled them all. I haven't even seen this one before. Are you Canadian or are you a liberal? Yeah, that's exactly it. Which one? What if Justin Trudeau had never been elected as Prime Minister? That's a great question. Our country would be doing a lot better. Anyone else running our country would have been better off. But really, if Stephen Harper had kept running the country, it's like, yeah, we'd probably be dominating right now. This Trudeau's full of crap. Yeah, he leaves his crap stain everywhere. The new Canadian $5 coin that nobody wants for numerous reasons. That's just gross. Trudeau banning daylight savings time because Canadians shouldn't have any kind of savings. We've got almost $12 for 2 chicken breasts. Yeah, that's things getting expensive. I've noticed that the food prices have gone up and down. There's some things like the pretzels used to be $1. Then they went up to $2 and then $2.50. Now they're back to $1.47. But then you've got other things that are going up in price right now. Like frozen pizzas, for example, have gone up like $1. The gas has dropped by about 25 cents here on Vancouver Island, right after the Bank of Canada dropped the rate. So Canada was under 1,000 feet of ice 12,000 years ago. The combustion engine is only 180 years old. What caused the ice to melt? Yeah, buffaloes farting. No taxes, of course. You've got the wrong Randy. I too was once a man trapped in a woman's body. Then I was born. The year is 2024. Your electric car won't start for 48 hours because your status on social media was deemed too offensive. Yeah. Remember, kids, if she has an apple, she has a banana. Well, that's where we're going to wrap up this episode. Let me know what you guys think down below. Trudeau's given out, another $5 billion plus 700 and whatever million. He just flushing out money. Oh, yeah, don't worry. I can spend all this money. It's not mine, but don't worry. I'll be getting some of that back from my good buddy Zelensky. It's aggravating. The whole thing, I mean, this has to end at some point. It just can't keep going on. I feel at some point that the general population here is going to just break, and then that'll be it. There will be no more control over the people because the people will be running rampant, doing bad things, and there won't be enough police to stop it. So I don't know if that's Trudeau's plan. Is he trying to push Canadians to snap and break into civil war? I don't know. Maybe that is his plan. Maybe there's a bunch of billionaires just sitting around and they want to just bet on this, and this is how they bet on their like horse races, except they're doing it with a country. Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. But thanks for watching the end of the video. I greatly appreciate all you guys. Be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up. If you want to see my journey with my brother in the Broken Group Islands where the kayak almost sinks and we get rescued and the whole business, I'll link that up here. We'll keep fighting for freedom here. I'll see you guys in the next one.